This is a world where money has no value. Here, time is everything. If you want to buy something, you have to give a part of your life's time in exchange for it. Only then can you buy that thing. But in this world, to live a good life, it is also necessary to have time. Because here, when a person reaches the age of 25, a 1-year countdown starts on their hand. The moment that countdown hits 0, that person dies. The rich people have so much time that they can live for 1,000 years. They have created a separate world for themselves, where they live a peaceful and luxurious life. But on the other side, in the ghetto city, the poor people work day and night just to earn time for themselves. Otherwise, their lives would end. Among these poor people lives a boy named Will, who has only 23 hours left on his clock. Will lives with his mother. Since age stops after 25, his mother, though 50 years old, still looks very young. Today is Will's mother's 50th birthday. To celebrate her birthday, Will had worked overtime the previous night and brought home a bottle of champagne. Seeing this, Will's mother becomes very happy and says to him, "I want to see my grandchildren someday. Why don't you date a girl?" To this, Will replies, "Who has time for all that?" His mother then tells him that the electricity bill and the bank loan have to be cleared by tomorrow. Otherwise, they'll be fined. She says, "That's why I'm going now, and I'll come back by tomorrow night after paying all the bills and loans. I only have 3 days of time left. After paying everything, I'll be left with almost no time. So please, wait for me at the bus stop tomorrow evening. So before my time runs out, I can take a little time from you." Will replies, "Okay, I'll be there on time." Before leaving, Will's mother touches his hand and transfers 30 minutes to his body so he can buy himself a good breakfast. Then both of them leave for their respective work. On the way, a small girl comes to Will. She gives him a capsule and asks for a little bit of his time. Smiling, Will transfers 5 minutes of his life into her capsule and the girl leaves. Here we learn that these people can also store their time in capsules so they can use and transfer it anytime. After that, Will reaches the factory for work. Before starting, he goes to buy coffee, but notices that the prices of everything have doubled. Earlier, a cup of coffee cost 2 minutes, but now it costs 4 minutes. Here, prices can be increased anytime without any announcement. Will feels very upset about this. Still, out of necessity, he pays 4 minutes of his life for the coffee and starts working. After a full day of work, at night, Will goes to a bar with his friend. Will's friend is a drunkard. He's always drunk. He signals to Will that a man over there is buying drinks for everyone and has a lot of time. When Will looks at that man, he sees that he is surrounded by girls. When Will's eyes fall on that man's clock, he sees that the man has 116 years of time. Will immediately realizes that this man must be from Greenwich City, because in the ghetto, people have at most 2 days of time. Will approaches the man and warns him, "You shouldn't be here. It's dangerous. Thieves can kill you and steal your time. You should leave quickly." But the man ignores Will and continues drinking. Just then, a gangster named Fortis enters the bar with his gang, and everyone starts running away in fear. Fortis is the biggest thug in the city who steals time from people by force. Will's friend grabs his hand and tries to pull him away, but Will refuses to leave and hides in a corner to watch what happens. Fortis comes to rob that rich man's time. He challenges him to a fight, saying, "Let's arm wrestle, and whoever loses will give all his time to the winner." This time fight works like arm wrestling, where both people clasp each other's wrists. The one whose wrist is pushed down loses time, which transfers into the other person's arm. The one whose wrist stays up gains time. In this way, the winner absorbs the loser's time and kills him. Fortis asks the rich man, "Are you ready?" The man replies, "I've drunk too much. I need a little time to get ready." Fortis says, "Fine, that's your last wish. Go ahead, I'll give you a few minutes." Fortis sends one of his men along with him so he can't escape. The rich man goes to the bathroom and starts vomiting because he's too drunk. If he fought Fortis in that condition, he would definitely lose. Just then, Will arrives, knocks out Fortis's man, and rescues the rich man from the bar. He takes him to a safe place. Will says, "I told you your life was in danger. Why are you wasting your time like this?" The man introduces himself as Henry and asks Will, "How old are you?" Will says, 28. Henry replies, "I'm 105 years old, and I'm tired of living. I've experienced everything in life, and now I don't need this life anymore. I don't want to live." Will, surprised, asks, "What are you trying to say?" Henry says, "It seems you still don't know the truth. Have you ever wondered why there are different time zones in this world? Why do prices and taxes in your ghetto zone keep increasing without reason? Inflation is deliberately raised so that poor people keep dying and their deaths benefit the rich people in Greenwich time zone. The whole system was created by them. Think about it in Greenwich. People have thousands of years to live, while here, you all work every day just to survive. They've made you do this intentionally. They don't want to give you more time so that you'll remain forced to work for them. They keep increasing prices so that you spend more and more time while they live forever off your time. Every day of their lives is built on the deaths of poor people, and I don't want to live a life that's built on the suffering of others. Hearing this, Will realizes that Henry is a very kind-hearted man. Henry then asks Will, "If you had as much time as I do, what would you do?" Will smiles and says, "First of all, I'd stop checking my time again and again, because at that time, Will had only 18 hours left." He says, "I check my clock every time, before sleeping, after waking up, while eating, because I'm afraid my time will run out and I'll die. My mom works so hard to manage everything at home. If I had as much time as you, I'd buy a nice house for my mom in Greenwich City, and we'd live happily ever after." Then Will says, "We should stay here tonight. By morning, the danger will be gone. Then you can go back home." Both of them fall asleep. When morning comes, Henry sees Will still sleeping. He walks over to Will and transfers all of his remaining time into Will's arm, leaving only a few minutes for himself. Then he goes and sits on a bridge. When Will wakes up, he notices Henry is gone. As usual, he looks at his clock and is shocked to see that 116 years have been added to it. His eyes widen in disbelief, thinking he's dreaming. Then he notices a message written on the window, "Don't waste my time." He realizes Henry has given him all his time. Looking outside, he sees Henry sitting by the bridge. Will rushes toward him, but it's too late. Henry only has a few seconds left. Within moments, Henry dies and falls into the water below. Will is devastated by Henry's death. Now, with 116 years on his clock, he realizes that if he stays here, people will think he killed Henry. He quickly goes to his friend, who is shocked to see so much time on Will's arm. Will then gives his friend 10 years of time as a token of friendship. His friend thanks him from the bottom of his heart. Will says, "It's not safe for me to stay here. Anyone could kill me to steal my time. Now I can buy a house in Greenwich City for my mom and live a safe life." He bids farewell to his friend and leaves. He then goes to the bus stop to wait for his mom, just like she told him 2 days ago. Meanwhile, his mother, after paying all the loans and bills, boards the bus to return home. But then she learns that in just one day, the bus fare has doubled from 1 hour to 2 hours. She becomes worried, as she only has 1 hour and 30 minutes left. She begs the bus driver, saying, "My son will give you the rest of the time at the next stop." But the driver refuses, saying, "If you don't have time, then walk." Rachel knows the next stop is very far, and even walking will take 2 hours. The bus is full of passengers, and she pleads with them too, but no one helps her. The bus drives away. Rachel now has very little time left, so she starts running home on foot. On the other hand, Will is standing at the bus stop with a bouquet of flowers, waiting for his mom because he plans to celebrate her birthday. When the bus arrives, many passengers get off, but his mom isn't among them. Worried, Will realizes something must have gone wrong. He starts running to find her. Meanwhile, Rachel has only a few minutes left. She bangs on car doors and houses, begging people to lend her a little time, but no one helps. Then, in the distance, Will spots his mother running toward him. Seeing her, he realizes she's running out of time. He stretches out his arm and runs toward her as fast as he can. Rachel now has only 10 seconds left. She too runs with all her strength toward Will. But just as she reaches him, her time runs out and she dies in his arms. Seeing this, Will breaks down, screaming in grief. By the next morning, the timekeepers have found Henry's dead body and begun their investigation. In today's world, timekeepers act as the police, maintaining law and order. Officer Raymond leads the investigation at the site but finds no clues. Then he notices a CCTV camera near the bridge and goes to check the footage. Meanwhile, Will has realized that the people living in Greenwich, the rich, are responsible for his mother's death. They've made the people of the ghetto slaves to every second. Will decides to take revenge and heads toward Greenwich City, and this is where the Real story begins. To enter Greenwich City, Will has to pay a year of time. When he finally enters, he is stunned by what he sees. The people there have so much time that they've forgotten what it means to die. Even the bodyguards of the rich have over 100 years on their clocks. Seeing this fills Will with rage because in his city, people barely have 24 hours to live. Will checks into a luxury hotel. While eating, a very beautiful girl notices him. It seems she likes him. Meanwhile, timekeeper Raymond is reviewing the CCTV footage of Henry's death and spots Will near the bridge. Although the footage doesn't capture Henry falling, it clearly shows Will standing nearby, which makes Raymond suspect him. He orders his team to gather information about Will. During their search, the timekeepers learn that a man named Will has spent a lot of time to enter Greenwich City. This confirms Raymond's suspicion that Will killed Henry. He immediately heads toward Greenwich with his team. On the other hand, in Greenwich City, Will enters a casino where a few rich men are playing poker. Will joins them at the table. Seeing a new face, they start mocking him. But Will is an expert gambler, and today he sees the perfect chance to take money from the rich. He plays a poker match against a wealthy man named Philip, who owns a time bank that lends time to others. Philip's daughter is also sitting beside him, the same girl who had noticed Will earlier. When the game starts, Will bets all his time, his entire life, and using his sharp mind, he wins 1,100 years from Philip. Seeing this, Philip's daughter, Sylvia, is deeply impressed by Will. She invites him to her house party the next night. The following evening, Will buys a brand new car and drives to Philip's party. During the party, Will and Sylvia start dancing, and Sylvia secretly falls in love with Will. She was just about to confess her feelings to him when suddenly, timekeeper Raymond arrives there with his team and captures Will. Thinking that Will is a murderer, Sylvia also gets angry with him. Raymond first takes away all of Will's time, leaving him with only 2 hours. After that, he begins to arrest Will for Henry's murder. Raymond asks him, "Why did you kill Henry?" Will replies, "I didn't kill him. He didn't want to live anymore. That's why he gave me 116 years and then took his own life." But Raymond doesn't believe him. Will realizes that Raymond will frame him for Henry's murder and imprison him for life. So, taking advantage of the situation, he kills Raymond's men, frees himself, and grabs a gun. He takes Sylvia hostage, using her as a shield, and escapes with her, fooling Raymond and his team. He manages to reach the ghetto city again, but by that time, he has very little time left. He asks Sylvia to lend him some time, but Sylvia refuses to give him even a second because she still believes that Will killed Henry. So he drives the car faster toward Ghetto City, hoping to borrow some time once he gets there. In his hurry, he doesn't notice the barbed wires laid across the road. The car hits the wires and crashes off the bridge. Both Will and Sylvia lose consciousness. Those barbed wires were actually placed there by Fortis and his gang. When Fortis sees that Sylvia has 10 years of time, he steals all her time and leaves. Soon after, Will and Sylvia regain consciousness. When Sylvia looks at her hand, she is shocked to see that she has only 30 minutes left, and Will also has just a few minutes. Still, Will transfers some of his minutes to Sylvia so that both have equal time left. After that, Will takes Sylvia to his friend's house, the same friend to whom he had once given 10 years. When his friend's wife opens the door and sees Will, she angrily says, "The 10 years you gave him took his life. He wasted all that time drinking, and that's how he died." Hearing this, Will feels deeply saddened. But now both Will and Sylvia have very little time left. If they don't act fast, they too will die. Then Will notices Sylvia's diamond earrings. Selling them gives Will and Sylvia 2 days of time. After that, Will takes Sylvia to a phone booth. He calls Sylvia's father, Philip, and tells him that his daughter is alive and safe. At that time, Raymond is also there with Philip, and Will knows that too. Will demands 10,000 years in exchange for returning Sylvia and says that the time must be distributed among poor people through the time bank. He gives them until the next morning. Although for Philip that amount is nothing, he refuses to give even a little time to the poor. Meanwhile, Will brings Sylvia to his home where they wait for the morning. During this time, Sylvia asks Will where his family is. Will tells her that his mother died last night because she ran out of time. Hearing this, Sylvia feels terrible. She realizes how poor people live every day in fear of death and how hard they have to work just to earn a single day. The next morning, as soon as the bank opens, Will and Sylvia watch through the window, but the bank does not distribute any time among the poor. Seeing this, Sylvia becomes heartbroken. Her father didn't value his daughter's life over time. Now Sylvia understands that her father isn't just a businessman. He's the head of this entire system. He collects years of life from the deaths of poor people. Seeing Sylvia so sad, Will decides to send her back home. He takes her to the phone booth and asks her to call her father for help. During this, Will even gives her a weapon to protect herself. While Sylvia is talking to her father, timekeeper Raymond quietly arrives there and points a gun at Will. Raymond is about to shoot when Sylvia notices him and, in panic, shoots Raymond. Will quickly rushes to Raymond. The bullet only grazed Raymond's hand, but it's bleeding heavily. Will looks at Raymond's clock. It shows only 2 hours left. In fact, timekeepers also receive only 1 day of time as their salary each day. Will realizes that before Raymond's team reaches him, he'll die from blood loss. So Will transfers 2 hours of time to Raymond and then escapes with his car. Now that Sylvia has shot Raymond, she too is on the criminal list. Will tells Sylvia that she can still walk away from all this. But Sylvia's life in Greenwich was like a bird trapped in a golden cage. Her father had imposed countless restrictions on her. Here, for the first time, she feels free to live her own way. Sylvia now understands how wrong things are in this system. She decides to stand with Will to give the poor people their rights. Together, Will and Sylvia start robbing the rich. Since Sylvia knows every corner of Greenwich City, they plan to steal time capsules from its banks and distribute them among the poor. Sylvia first targets several of her father Philip's banks because he had collected all that time from the deaths of poor people. They steal all the time capsules from the vaults, pack them in a bag, and distribute them among the poor. After such massive robberies, the government grows frustrated with them and puts a bounty of 10 years on their heads. Hearing this, gangster Fortis begins hunting them like dogs. But Will and Sylvia keep changing their hideouts every day, making it impossible for anyone to find them. They hide in a hotel. Since they now have plenty of time, they book the entire hotel for themselves. Meanwhile, Fortis and his men reach the area and start interrogating people about Will and Sylvia. But those people owe Will and Sylvia a lot. They are ready to die, but not to betray them. However, when Fortis tortures them brutally, one man, out of fear of death, reveals the hotel where Will and Sylvia are hiding. Fortis and his gang immediately reach the hotel and capture both of them. Now escaping seems impossible. Fortis forces Will to sit at a table and challenges him to a time fight. Will realizes that if he refuses, Fortis's men will kill him anyway, so he accepts the challenge. They clasp each other's wrists and the deadly game begins. Fortis, being an expert, quickly pushes Will's hand down, and Will's time starts transferring rapidly into Fortis. But Will doesn't resist at all. It seems like he's intentionally losing. Then, when only 3 to 4 seconds of his life are left, Will suddenly uses his strength and slams Fortis's hand down. Fortis's eyes widen in shock. He tries with all his strength to push back, but Will's power overwhelms him. Seeing this, Fortis's men panic as their boss is about to die. Taking advantage of the distraction, Will pulls out a gun hidden in his shoe and shoots all of Fortis's men within seconds. If he hadn't, they would have killed him. Fortis's time reaches 0 and he dies. Will and Sylvia escape from there, but soon they realize that the rich have reversed the game. The time Will and Sylvia distributed among the poor has now become worthless because the rich have drastically increased the cost of living. Seeing this, Will feels defeated. He says to Sylvia, "It's over. Even if we give away 1,000 years, the rich will just raise prices again. The poor will never get better." Sylvia replies, "There has to be a way." Will says, "We'll have to steal millions of years and give them to the people. Only then can we control inflation." Though it's not easy, Sylvia already has a plan. The next morning, when Philip arrives at his office with his bodyguards, Sylvia shows up and says she wants to surrender. The guards immediately point their guns at her, but suddenly, Will, who was hiding in the base behind the guards, appears. He puts a gun to Philip's head and forces him to open the vault. Will and Sylvia steal a time capsule containing 1 million years. Every single year inside that capsule had come from the deaths of poor people. They escape with the capsule. When Raymond learns about this, he immediately goes after them. Looking at his clock, he sees he has less than 1 hour left. He calls headquarters and asks them to send his salary capsule, saying, "I'm running out of time." But before he can transfer the time to his body, he spots Will's car and starts chasing them without taking the time, determined to stop them. If the poor had received that 1 million years, every person in Ghetto Zone would have become immortal, and the entire system built by the rich would have collapsed. Raymond puts everything he has into catching Will and Sylvia, but he fails. They escape to Ghetto City and hand over the time capsule to a little girl. They know Raymond will come straight to Ghetto City, so they leave the area and go to a deserted place. There, they distribute millions of years among the poor, making them all immortal. But now Will and Sylvia themselves have very little time left. Unfortunately, Raymond catches up to them at that very moment. He threatens Will, saying, "If you want to live, return all the time you stole." Will shows him his clock and says, "Have you forgotten? When you were about to die, I lent you some time. You should be the one to return it." Raymond suddenly remembers that in his haste to catch them, he forgot to check his own clock. When he looks at it, he has only 5 seconds left. Then it hits 0 and Raymond dies. Will and Sylvia survive, but now they too have only 1 minute left each. In that deserted area, there's no one around to help them. They can see death approaching. They hug each other in despair, and just then, Will spots Raymond's car. He quickly runs to it and transfers Raymond's salary time into his own clock. Then he rushes back towards Sylvia to give her time. Sylvia, too, runs toward Will. She has only a few seconds left. It's exactly like the moment when Will lost his mother. He doesn't want to lose Sylvia the same way. Will is just about to reach her when Sylvia collapses into his arms. Luckily, Will catches her hand just in time and saves her life. Because of Will and Sylvia, now everyone in Dayton City has become immortal. They no longer have to work in factories to earn hours. Everyone heads toward Greenwich City to fulfill their dreams, and the entire system built by the rich collapses. And with that, the story comes to an end. Time waits for no one, and neither do great stories. So before your time runs out, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more movie recaps.